Hey YouTube, Lady Mac here, author Chris McIntyre. Dressed. Kidding. This is not a sexy reading video or whatever you want to call those. Probably due for a clothes on video. Not that I take my clothes off on YouTube or even on, okay, whatever. We're not talking about my spicy link right now. I have book updates for you guys. And like they're kind of all over the map, and I kind of still don't know 100% what I'm talking about. Not what I'm talking about when it comes to like Amazon and how they treat indie authors, but what I'm talking about in regards to like my 100% steps like going forward. So first of all, backstory, whether or not you know me or not, I write erotica. And when I started publishing, I have 10 books. When I started publishing, I published and pushed for paperbacks. I've never really been an e-reader, never been into Kindle, and like that's cool. If you do, like that's not a, it's just, it was never like I just never got into e-reading, whatever. So when I put my books up there, I just threw them up. I never really understood how Kindle worked. I just tossed them up there. They were available. Some of them were formatted like shit, but they were there. And I usually made grocery money from it, especially with 10 books published. Like I'm not a bestseller, I'm not super well known, but like when I started and when I was first publishing for a really long time, Amazon paid authors who published on Kindle 6 cents a page. Now, and that does vary depending on your program or whatever, but that was like the baseline. So 6 months, year ago, I started seeing a lot of indie authors. A lot of authors were upset over some treatment from Amazon and were pulling their books from Kindle, and were switching to other platforms like Kubo, etc. And I hope this hasn't been like fluffing around the whole time because I'm not recording this. I'm really sorry. I try to stay out of it mostly because I kept seeing like both sides and or like people who were trying to advocate for both sides, and having not really been involved with Kindle or ebooks and whatever, I just ignored it. I didn't really understand it. I didn't put a lot of research into it. I just continued. Well, I've been ghostwriting for somebody. I have been doing lots of background work. I like published 3 books last year, and then just again, I either publish multiple books a year or like drop off the goddamn map for a while. So it is what it is. I've always published short stuff and I stay active on social media, but like I am not capable of publishing like 8 books a year as much as my ambition and my brain seems to think I am. Anyway, I digress. So I did notice, but didn't really put into too much thought, that my Amazon Kindle payments dropped drastically over the last multiple months. And we are talking drastically. Like I got paid like $6 a couple of months ago or whatever. My page reads haven't really decreased a whole lot. So I did some looking into it and found out that we now only get paid 0.04 cents a page read, which is pretty wild if you ask me, considering they now charge all of you guys away that read on Kindle way more than they used to, a couple bucks more. And the assumption was that authors would be paid more, but they are not. They are paid like, I don't do math, but 6 cents a page to, or 0.6 cents a page to 0.04 cents a page is a massive drop if you want to do the math on that for me. So like that's huge. But here's the kicker. So publish your books, and this is why people are really pulling them, and it has nothing to do with the payment. It's not like we're like deserving to be paid for our work or anything. So the kicker is that to publish your work on Kindle, you cannot have it published on any other platform. Cool. I agree to that. Authors agree to that. Let me tell you a fun fact about the internet. There are pirates here and hackers, and that's just a fact of the internet. And I am a product of 1995 when we were using Napster and LimeWire to download viruses to our computers. Okay, I get it. Okay, and it's 2023, and that's not going away, obviously. And when sites like when main sites and big sites and all the sites have people hack their stuff from them, because that's just how it works, and they post it on piracy websites, Amazon penalizes us and removes our books or doesn't pay us because we're breaking the terms of service. So, and I'm still doing research. I'm really hesitant to like post this because I'm scared someone's going to be like, well, actually, like XYZ. But like from what I've read, multiple other platforms will not penalize authors for cross posting simply because they're never going to be able to stop hackers ever, especially even if, I guess, if you put up the best firewalls and the best whatever. I'm not techie smart, so I'm probably talking to my ass here. Somebody's always going to pirate stuff. So that's not fair. And that's why many authors are pulling their stuff, because it's not fair. We're not the ones pirating our stuff from Kindle or Amazon or whatever, and reposting it on like torrent sites, but our books are not allowed to be shared anymore, or not allowed to be paid for them when they show up on those sites. So, as I'm now part of this group that's no longer receiving royalties or being paid for my work, or being, flagged as like somebody who's breaking terms of service because my stuff gets pirated, I very likely have no choice but to remove my stuff from Kindle, not my paperbacks from Amazon, but my books from Kindle, and move them over to likely Kubo. But I'm not an e-reader, and I don't know anything about any of these platforms, and I'm really scared. This is like forcing me into an entire new area of like books and writing and ebooks that I don't know anything about. So again, I'm positive somebody's watching this and they're like, girl, you got XYZ wrong. And I might have, but the big things I got right are that we're not being paid for our work when it's hacked and pirated. We're being penalized for it. And there is ways to like, file a form and legally like, not, and I'm not saying that Amazon won't rewrite their wrongs, but I don't have hundreds of hours of time to invest to search for the pirated sites, which you need to do, fill out the forms, which I do have, that you have to include your IBS number, the websites that they're on, the version of the book. Like, that's absurd. Now, big wig authors that are having this happen to them can pay lawyers or people to fill in those forms and do the man hours. But like indie authors, like that's fucking bullshit. You really, after we do the work to write the books and we promote it and we advertise it because we're indie authors and we're using Amazon, which already penalizes us 100 different ways. And now we're being like, and then we have to do that legwork. Like when I looked into how far some of my books have been pirated and how far some of this goes, like I'm not ever getting back from this. Like that's not a rabbit hole. It's not a hole I can climb myself out of. Like I have to just like cut my losses and restart. I just don't know how soon, how fast, what it'll detail. So it's not like I'm going to have a link in the comments below, like, go find my books on XYZ. Like, they're still on Amazon and Kindle. I don't know which ones I'll be paid for. I don't know what I'll even be paid at all, but they're there for now. So that's my update. I will have more news as I'm finally, like, as summer's kind of wrapping up and I have some other side projects wrapping up, I'm now going to be able to dedicate a couple of weeks solely to this. So join my mailing list for the absolute first updates and links for stuff as it comes out, and more information as I know. LadyMacXO.com. That link will be below. The best way to support myself as an indie author, or any indie author right now, is to buy paperback or message them and ask them which platform they are actually going to be receiving payment from before you read from that platform. And I'm not saying not to use, like, if that's what you can afford, or like, man, go to the library. Like, we don't receive royalties from that, but like, it's legit ways to read our book, because piracy is theft, whatever. And then we've all been guilty of it or whatever in whatever form, but like I, you know, this is important. So this is why you're seeing authors leaving. This is why some of your favorite authors aren't on Kindle anymore. When I started sharing this on my Facebook, I did have multiple readers. They were like, "Oh my God, like that's why XYZ's books aren't on here." And I went to so and so's website, and I'm like, now I have to download their books from there. So I'm one of thousands of authors that are just putting their voice out into the void here. So like, if I can help any of us get some help back or recognition to this issue, then that would be great. If you have anything to add in the comments to help clarify the things I've been sharing, again, like I'm still like I got sidewinded by this last week, and in the middle of like not having time to deal with this. And so I've just been like drowning in the background. And I can't not like put something out about it because people keep messaging me and they're like, Carissa, like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know. So there you go. Like I'm struggling, drowning, and unsure. So get my books from Amazon as a paperback. The best way would be to support me or get them from ladymacxo.com and sign up for my mail list, and I'll let you know what I'm going to do going forward. Especially with my newest books that I'm hoping to release in the early part of, or later this year, or the early part of next year for sure. I really need to figure this out before I post those. So yeah, other indie authors, I want to hear from you. Let's, like, if there's groups or stuff, if we can band together and use our voices, like, let's do this. Like, I'm sorry I've waited so long. I'm just an ignorant paperback writer who doesn't understand and is now being thrown into the fire pits and needs to understand as soon as possible. So there you go. Lady Mac, the closed version of me out. Yes, I do have some spicy stuff up on OnlyFans. Go check that out, Lady Mac. So, and then everything else is here on YouTube, and that's it. Okay, I love you guys. I so appreciate that you're here. Thank you. It means the world to me. Go support indie authors. It would mean the world to them too.